Good evening. You're watching the main news on HKIBC. I'm Isabel Wong.
And I'm Edna Tse. Here's a look at tonight's top stories. Cooling measures are here to stay unless market downturn is confirmed, says housing chief.
U.S. aircraft carrier Ronald Reagan and its battle group arrive in Hong Kong.
Mainland tour groups not received by local tour guides may not necessarily be illegal, says the government.
It was too early to tell if the loan-to-value ratio requirements should be eased to accommodate a market downturn, Financial Secretary Paul Chan said.
Housing Chief Frank Chan also told lawmakers that the government has no intention of relaxing property cooling measures unless it was absolutely certain that the home market has entered into recession. Riley Chan reports.
Hong Kong's overheated property market appears to be slowing down in recent months. For the first time in 29 months, home prices fell slightly in August, although current prices were still 36% pricier compared to 2016. Speaking in Beijing at the end of his duty visit, Financial Secretary Paul Chan was asked if authorities would ease mortgage rules in the near future in response to a possible downturn. Whether or not the loan-to-value ratio should be adjusted, Chan said, was something that should be handled with caution. He said the monetary authority has been closely watching recent market movements. If a downtrend is confirmed, it may consider making adjustments for loan-to-value ratio requirements, Chan added. At the Legislative Council, Transport and Housing Secretary Frank Chan said the government has no intention to relax its property cooling measures at this stage. To discourage speculation, a range of stamp duties were imposed in recent years to limit quick resale, while non-residents would also need to pay an extra levy when buying homes in the city.
Whether the government will change such a taxation arrangement so that persons who acquire a new residential property as replacement are required to pay additional stamp duty only if they fail to dispose of their original residential property within 12 months so as to alleviate their burden when acquiring properties. The government has no intention to relax or withdraw any demand-side management measures at the moment, as this would send the wrong message to the market and again lead to market exuberance. They have virtually killed the secondary market. While the biggest beneficiary are the government and the developers. They can launch new flats all the time, and only the rich people can afford flats. The stamp duty would help curb the external demand, and we also have stamp duty to curb speculative activities, so these do not target first-hand or second-hand property prices, but instead the sources of the speculative activities.
Chan also said that the government will consider relaxing the counter-cyclical measures only when it was certain that the property market had entered a downward cycle. Riley Chan, HKIBC.
U.S. aircraft carrier Ronald Reagan and its battle group arrived in Hong Kong this morning, less than 2 months after China denied a similar visit by another U.S. warship.
Responding to drills in the Philippine Sea last week, the battle group's commander insisted it was just a regular exercise to promote regional stability. Riley Chan reports.
The distinctive E-2C Hawkeye early warning aircraft, the MH-60 Seahawk, touted as the most advanced maritime helicopter in the world, and F-18 Super Hornet fighter jets are among some 80 jets arriving in town today, as aircraft carrier USS Ronald Reagan lowered anchor near Changyi for a scheduled port visit. It was accompanied by a cruiser and 2 destroyers in a strike group. The Ronald Reagan, commissioned in 2003, is the most advanced carrier of its class, with a displacement of 97,000 tons. The nuclear-powered vessel can carry up to 90 fixed-wing aircraft and helicopters. It also visited Hong Kong in October last year. But a similar U.S. Navy vessel, the USS Wasp, was denied a port visit in September in times of heightened tensions between the U.S. and China. Beijing's approval of the latest port call was seen as a friendly gesture ahead of a planned meeting at the G20 summit in Argentina between President Xi Jinping and U.S. President Donald Trump. The carrier strike group's commander, Rear Admiral Carl Thomas, would not speculate his vessels, and 5,000 crew members were given a green light.
This is my 6th time visiting Hong Kong over the past 30 years, and I truly look forward to experiencing the hospitality and the culture once again. The sailors on board USS Ronald Reagan, USS Chancellorsville, and USS Curtis Wilbur are very excited to enjoy some time off and to experience all that Hong Kong has to offer.
He also denied troops in the Philippine Sea last week was a show of force aimed at China.
When you bring two of these ships together and they can operate together, it just shows the great flexibility and the expansive operation area that we can work, and it takes some training to be able to do that well. But it really just shows the dedication that we have to this region in ensuring that we promote stability and keep it free.
The U.S. sailors would visit local schools and play a football match with PLA officers and police during the port call, but exactly how many days the carriers would stay was not cleared. A temporary restricted flying zone covering waters off Changyi and the Tsim Sha Tsui piers has been set up and would be effective until Sunday. Riley Chen, HKIBC.
Secretary for Commerce and Economic Development Edward Yao said mainland inbound tour groups operating without local tour guides may not necessarily contravene Hong Kong laws.
Yao told a Legislative Council meeting that travel agents outside the SAR were free to bring in tour groups, so long they are not responsible for the travellers' itineraries in town. Yupina reports.
It has been almost